All right. First off, Glenn, thanks for doing this. I appreciate it. I'll start with your coming back to the Baycats in 2015. What went into that decision?
Well, with reference to that decision, I mean, I would have to solely believe it was based off of winning. I want to say that when I came back, I was 30, 31, just finished up 3 years with Toronto, which I did enjoy. Great group, no matter stuff you might hear about Toffs, great guy. But sometimes, heads butt and, it was just time for me. I was like, okay, I was just about to have my son, and I was like, okay, that's that's two new newborns. Where's the easiest, not the easiest window, but the best way that I could go out if this is it, and I did think that that was going to be my last year. I did, based off of my son arriving and the talks I had with my wife. So everything was like escalated in pressure, and I believe for myself, whereas I still thought I played decent after that season. That was my last season where I personally invested in my body and my mind and stuff like that in another level, which I did for the playoff run too, and I always did try. But that was the last season where I felt like superior Glenn, like you can't stop me, made the defensive all-star team, all that shit, second team. But the decision is solely based on coming back was just based off of winning and getting that out, those sleepless nights out of my mind.
Yeah, and moving forward to that Toronto series, what was your mindset during that series? Because from the outside, it was quite interesting.
You know what, man? That's out of all the playoff runs I've had with Barrie, the 5 title runs, besides, the epic battles with Brantford, which were just so intense and full of anxiety and just baseball feelings that are amazing. The finals we played against Toronto and, being able to play that 7-game series to get to the finals was amazing. I think about game 6. No, not even game 6. I want to say it was was us, Leafs. So game 4, I think, was a Sunday afternoon at 2. And I ended up getting a flat on the way there. I was miserable. I was so hot. And Rowe was on the mound, and he got out of a bases-loaded jam, I think, with no outs. And I just remember what a grind that game was. And I think Matta came in and, in extras or something. And I think we lost. But, I mean, you talk about like a mentally draining battle. Then you go to, game 6 at their place, and they just pumped us like 22-4. And I just remember the look on DeGrace's face. And it was all confidence. It was like, we'll get it done tomorrow. And then, game 7, great crowd, great energy. We faced that same pitcher for the 3rd time. So, I felt like we had them. I know once Walt made that error, first love Walt, not dissing him. Then the floodgates open. We had, I think, a 6-0 lead, and it was on to there. But I think if I would have I believe if I was on the other side, maybe the Leafs don't get there. And that's not a negative to me, but who knows? They had a great vibe. Not saying I wasn't a part of it, not saying I was a negative part of it, but what would have been on the other side? What would that have been like? Could I have done something different? Would it, but I was blessed to be on the other side where we were and winning, and, to win that game was like a relief, man. What a shitty summer or year off that would have been, man. That would have been so heartbreaking. As far as that goes. So it was nice to get that done and get back in that playoff mode after being, the last game I played with the Leafs, we got eliminated by Hamilton in a play-in game, which was just like for a 30-year-old guy. It was just like, that's tough to swallow when you see your buds living the dream. And that was the toughest, like even the London, when they won London, I was, that'll always hurt because I wasn't there, but I still got to be there for 5 of them. So, but that Leafs series was intense, full of respect, just like every matchup with Kitchener. But that Leafs series was awesome. Same with getting to play at the Pits in the finals, the place where I grew up, and win a championship in Toronto. Whereas I always did have a dream to do it with the Leafs, and I always get the itch to sort of come back, but I realize I'm too old. That was awesome as well. A lot of great pictures, family, all my kids on the field. It's good stuff.
Yeah, and you mentioned how you guys beat Toronto in Game 7. Rowe wins another Game 7 for you guys, and then you face the Panthers, and you're up 3-1 in the series. You have that game at home, Game 5. The place is packed, and you guys had a 6-0 lead, I think it was, after the first inning. What was the mindset staying in the outfield for the 9 innings that night, realizing that by the first inning you're just counting outs at that point?
Well, I always remember when I walked to the park when I got there that day, and Spatty just said, "You look like you're gonna throw up. You look like a ghost." So, I always go with my gut and have a vibe, and I can, you can sort of, like, feel it in the air, and whereas I sucked that game. I, I was just excited. Me and Spatty always talked about, running into the outfield together. And when I can still remember it, brother, like it's yesterday. I can still close my eyes right now and see, Spatty with his right hand up in the air, and just we're both running, and I can see it just like I can with Cowan, Dewey, running in. I think those are the ones we ran in for that I can remember off the top of my head this moment. 16, I think at one of them I was injured, and last year I came off the bench because we made changes. So I did remember them correctly, but I remember all of those like it's yesterday, especially that one and running into the mist. And then, of course, just the afterglow. I mean, that was a special night for me. I had family there. My cousin drove down on his motorcycle. One of my best man, not my best man, one of my best friends, Daryl, came down with his girl, my nieces, my nephews. Like, the crowd's always got love. Despite going out in that first round, I couldn't believe I lost that, but that's okay. That was a great time, great night, great moment in the clubhouse. I didn't take the picture when we were all with our shirts off because I didn't want to diss the Kitchener guys. So I regret that, but I don't. That's just the person I am. I don't think it was a diss, but I just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just how I roll. And then, of course, the Tim and Sid video, which to me, it's amazing. Like, what that is still, it's still alive, like in the smallest portion, but like something so random and passionate in that moment. And, having my daughters in that video and just like, hearing Spatty yelling, Glennie, that was a great moment. Just to love the guys, like the pictures that I have with JC and all the boys and Stevie with the goggles and I'll never forget that. That was probably one of the best years of my life, 2015. If you combine that with, the birth of my son, the Blue Jays, Batista bat flip, like that was a great year. And I mean, of all the titles I had with those guys, that was probably the only one besides a nice cottage night at Goose's after the 18 final weekend there, where we went out and partied like we were younger still, like 4 days in a row, man. That was, that was a good time, intense time, birth of my son, a week later. But I mean, just in general, it's a great time, man. It's just, every time I put on that ring, I just, the shirts with the boys and the belief in me. And, that's one thing I always realized over time, brother, was the leader that I was. I couldn't hide from it the second time around. I was always motivated to be the best, but that individual in me that drove me my whole life had to be checked. And I always remember Matt Logan telling me, bud, one day it's over and you got to make sure that you're, a leader and setting a good example. And whereas I wasn't maybe always perfect, I feel like I finished strong. Even this year where I was a shell of myself, I wasn't the greatest. I used whatever I had left, but I knew I was done. It was a couple fly balls I missed, but it was just about being a good teammate. And the guys understand. I'm 36, bro. If I want to do what I want to do before the game and hang out with the boys, like I just had enough of the whole battle. I just wanted to enjoy the boys, if that makes sense. It didn't matter if I was starting or I just was like, what, this is gonna be over. So enjoy the moment, enjoy the combos, enjoy that last clubhouse, that last bus ride, that last trip from 407 or wherever they dropped us off. And it was just an amazing feeling that whole night. I can still remember everything at Goose's house, certain conversations, driving to work that night. I don't know why I went to work, but I just wanted to go to work and show off. So it was just a great time. It's a time I'll never forget. Such great teammates, all around. From DeGrace to Dew to Stevie Lou, Castaldo, getting a year to get to know Aki better. That was my first year getting to be his teammate. He's grown into a good friend. He's a really good person. You think about JC, watching him grow up as a young man. Really wishing that Lundberg was on that title, and you can't say enough about Biss and the longevity of what he's done and his friendship, and the Dragon and Lawson. Trying to make sure I don't forget anybody. But we went through so many battles. Youngblood, I know Youngblood couldn't be there. We're just times to never forget, and the people and Millsy, and just going back to all those times we lost, bro, as young man. And I mean, Brantford was good, man. they did it without Dominicans, man. You know, a couple American boys, Chavez and Myers, holding the run game. And we just couldn't, you know, we had the talent, but we didn't have, I don't know. We just, you know, those lessons brought us closer. And there was so many great times. And that's what I'll miss the most. You know, I'm a busy guy. And, you know, we got our Zoom chats every now and then with the boys, but we're in touch. And that's the most important thing. And, you know, we got a great group. And I look forward to coming back and celebrating these, because I know that's how Millsy will be. And, you know, be a part of it will be great in any way that I can. And, you know, that's why I said this is my big leagues, man. I still feel like that. And, you know, I got 5 title rings, man. You know, a lot of great friendships and people, a lot of great support, seeing people shine and do great things. It's amazing. So I wish I could relive it all the time, man. I wish I could still play, to be honest. But, you know, my kids inside, they're growing, and, you know, that's the toughest part. I'd be lying to you. There's some days, bro, I'll sit here and I'll watch some videos, man, of MLB, and I hear the crowd noise and it makes me cry. Like, not like just like, man, I get goosebumps, you know, like, and I'll miss that. I'll miss the roar of the crowd. You know, I think about, you know, the 18 finals hitting that bomb, and I'll never forget that. And DeGrace, you know, coming up to me and, you know, just looking at me with, and just saying, get it done. And just hearing the crowd and, you know, Starling, what he did next. And, you know, just, I could have partied more after, you know, we all had work the next day. And but that's what life's celebration's about. I believe Dew will get married here soon one day. And I think he's, you know, I believe one day, you know, Stevie Lou will bury the hatchet one day when he's ready. And you got Matta having a child. And, you know, seeing everybody grow is the greatest thing. You know, especially a guy like yourself, right? I've known you a long time. You're growing into a young man, very professional. You know, even on the chat when, you know, maybe doesn't have his dart or can't, you know, wants a drink and he's getting all fired up, you know, you go about it the right way, because what he was doing was trying to be the first one there. Nobody cares about being the first one there, bro. Just be respectful of everybody else. If you're the guy, nobody cares.
Appreciate it, man. So that moment in time when you had that interview on Rogers TV, what's the most amazing about that is you had a one-on-one with Ken, and I was waiting for Ken to be done, and Craig came in. And if he didn't come in maybe 2 minutes beforehand, that never would have happened. Isn't it just amazing how small moments can turn into like such big life moments?
Yeah, it's, you know, timing is everything. And you think about, you know, the zone I was just in, and I was like floating. You know, I had a dip in, probably 3 different dips, was drinking beer, guys pour us soaked, just lost in the moment. Wife's there with her big belly for the Jeter inside. And, you know, that interview will forever define me. I mean, whether it's Alex Anthropoulos, who may not know my name, but it's like winning at life. Or, you know, I hear a lot of people say that, winning in different ways. And I'll be like, yeah, like, I know it's, you know what I mean? It's a part of that. And when they play it at the office at work, and like all the time, bro, they probably play like if you get an introduction from me at work and you're new, the first thing they're going to be is go watch his YouTube video. And then after that, it's like, okay, you know, what do I got to live up to? You know, so whereas I'm not a celebrity, I always believe I'll be one of the most popular IBL players, but in a way that is different than others. Maybe that Cleveland Brownlee way, where, you know, like everywhere he went, people had love for him. I believe he's a silent guy like myself who, you know, no matter what, was good with the people and the fans, even through the shit that I went through with suspensions and growing up and just being off balance and having, you know, just not being mature enough. I've always had the fans and treated everybody with respect, man, you know, and it was never about for show. It's just being myself. And that's how I still am to this day and will always be. You know, life's a battle, and it's about friendships you make. And I think there was one good quote you gave me, you know, I think it was about, you know, how you treat those that are maybe at your level or something like that, you know, or whatever. And it's not, you know, it's just about treating everybody the same. I never got discouraged when Lisa, you know, you think Lisa Donnelly wants to talk. Okay, cool, darling, let's talk. You know, where some of the other guys are like, you know, like, you know, does he stink of it? Maybe, yes. But you know what? That hug for him will make, and I know that. And that's okay with me because I'm in the shower anyway. So a great moment. Just worth it. You know, I wish things went better for Craig there, but I know he'll continue to do good things. You know, and that's a moment we'll always forever be tied to, and the love will be there, especially Tim and Sid still. I love that. It's just amazing.
Yeah, and when I wrote my thank you post to all you guys, I wrote that the 2017 season was my favorite season, just being with the team. I think I finally connected with you guys that season. But the 2018 postseason run by you, capped off that home run is absolutely my highlight. When you hit that home run, the helmet comes off. Is there anything going through your mind at that time, or is that just instinct?
Oh man, I wanted to throw up the Alomar and do that, but then I'm like, the game's not over.
Right.
And then Starling stole the moment. So it's like I'm stuck in between. Like I could have been that video, but then I'm like, if this is it for me, I'm not going to go out like that. So I just put that up, and I was like, man, what a moment. What a moment. Who I thank the most for that season is Tim Smith. There was one game in July, I must have been hitting like 200. And just, I don't know, just wasn't making adjustments. And at first when they said Tim was coming over, I was discouraged. Just like, I can't beat Tim Smith out, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's, I'm like, okay, you just work and just work and work. And, we made some adjustments in the outfield, and I sat that game. Goose put me in the pinch hit a grand slam, and the rest is history. That's when it started. That's when like I went on a run. Yeah, that's when I was, and then the playoffs came, and I the funny thing is, I told myself that was my goal, and I kept it quiet. And then I had a great start against, I don't know, we played the first round, but had a decent start. Then I think we played Hamilton next. We got to get a little deeper, but I was consistent, getting on base, walks, dropping bunts. And I was just seeing it, man. I was just in the zone, brother. And, that great place. And, when I put those hands up, I don't know, man. My dad was there. He won the 50-50 right after. You got everybody there. I'm leading the team, which is not saying like I never did before. There's been great spurts where I've, done my thing and been there for the squad. But like I believed, I played an integral role and just big at-bats like every man did at some point in the season or in a playoff run. But when I hit that, just defined everything. I don't even care how I hit last year, to be honest. Like, I mean, I care, but I don't. I just go back to 18. That's when it really ended for me last year. I was like, okay, I can squeeze one more out. And then I realized midway through, maybe not, but I got to grind through this. And I want to be with the guys because I know, I'm only going to see them 3 or 4 times a year, maybe how life rules. So a bit of a sacrifice, but that moment, what a way to film. It's the way I think I finish on top, 35, like doing shit, that nobody does. I don't work out. I'm just living my life, hitting the ball and help the boys win a title. And that's just great, man. That's what I love. And it's just the respect that still comes with that, just through the age and being a coach and a mentor, driving my kids to be great. I wish you could interact and see what I do with those kids, man, and how I push them to be. And, just a great moment. I'm going to show them actually a video tonight to start off our Zoom meeting at 8, just to get them pumped up. And, I always start them off with like, okay, something feel good. And then a little bit of a 15-minute podcast. And then I talk about the game and instances, and then we just play Sporkle,
right.
So, but yeah, that moment, even though it was followed up by Starling, was just great because I don't know, just a big hit. It's a great hit. And I hate that because when I was 17, we were supposed to go to the Nationals. We had to lose 2 games that day to lose, and I lost that at Jack Couch with I hit a base hit to left. The guy was safe, and they called him out, and we lost the chance to go to the Nationals. So that park, every time I've been there my whole life since I'm 17, I've tried to just destroy that place. And if they ever did my numbers on Jack Couch, I guarantee them over 400 and just raking there. But to answer your question, yes, that was just a great moment, slapping Goose's hand. I had messages from people, and I saved them all on my Facebook Messenger from certain moments, and guys just saying how pumped they were to see me roll on the bases, and that it was me, and every time I had a handshake, just respect and love. And translated into Australia, had a good time in Australia. I think that was after that too, and that was a blast. Hit really well there, and had a great time with all the guys that were down there. So yeah, it's a great moment, brother. Awesome.
Last question for you, man. I appreciate you doing this. What has being a Baycat meant to you?
Give me a chance to finish playing the game the way I want. Everybody has their big leagues, but the amount of great friends and relationships that I have from it, from people that work there to them growing up and seeing me grow from no kids to having kids, and those conversations I've had with Viv, Sandy, Catherine, yourself, Melzy, Clarkey, Marley, Lisa, the Don, Johnny out in center. I mean, there's you know, the boys, the times where nobody sees, and the beers we have, you know, like the times and conversations we have to stay on top and push through, and going to weddings, and, you know, seeing a guy like Branfy come from being in Toronto and not speaking good English, and just wondering if he's going to have a life, to having a foundation and having a life set up, to, you know, seeing Biss have 4 kids. You know, I close my eyes, I can see me and Biss in Montreal at the hotel, is like trading candies, like in the hallway talking. You think about playing Spitaro at Welland and battling it out and not even knowing it. And you know, the amount of guys that came through and retired through we play, you know, the Proctors, the Tours, the Logans, the Betsies, the Spaljerics, you know, the guys that were there, you know, the 1 years that kept so many great guys, the Dominican boys, you know, like Emily. Like, I'll never see Emily again. Maybe not. You know, Santos might not see him ever again. But I've got memories and, you know, lifetime that will last a lifetime. You know, seeing Claudio do what he did, but just being there with the guys, man, and having them at my wedding. You know, pull in when I'm taking pictures of my wife, and they're all, you know what I mean? Growing up, watching, you know, guys like Stevie Lou, JC grow up. You know, we used to talk when JC was a freshman and just staying on top of his game. You know, so many relationships go so deeper, but in the end, brother, it just means the world. And I know it's something that's going to last forever, I think. And as long as, you know, Millsy and leadership is there, the past will always be a part of the present, I think, until the present takes over the past, if that makes sense. And then it will be like, you know, how the Jays, until the Jays win another World Series, you're always going to go back to 92, 93. So I think that once this streak ends and a new one begins and a title's won after that, a new era will start. And I believe they'll get there, because once you get to the city, it's over. I believe it's over. Who's not going to want to play in the heart of that city? You know, it's Rejo's city now. It's the Dreams team. You know, JC will provide that leadership. I think he's still coming back and playing. So I will be making some drives to watch one of the greatest hitters of all time I know hit. And but yeah, it's just great, brother. It's still alive today, and, you know, I got, you know, 5 of those. I wish I could get more, but, you know, we'll take what we can get.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for not only this, but obviously all the talks we've had over the years. I always appreciate it, man.
I'm always here, man. Don't ever be shy for anything. It doesn't have to be just about Baycats. If you need anything, just let me know, man. You want to come to a Jays game when they actually let you back in the stadium? Let me know. Like, if you were to ask me for tickets, I'm not going to say no. So, you know what I mean? So don't be shy.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks, man.
All righty. Have a good day.